Hello and welcome to this tutorial. It will be a basic video on the usage and pretty much just a way of making some fantastic Foundry Stream overlays for your D&D or TTRPG online games. There are plenty of people who stream their games, or maybe they don't necessarily want to stream it, but they want to record their own sessions and get as much information as they can without cluttering the screen and making things difficult to view. So this module, my module, Foundry Stream Overlay, does allow you to do that. And as of today, the time of recording this is the 24th of July, I have just massively upgraded and updated the module releasing today, version 4.0. It does come with a number of premium features, but you can get one of those codes by subscribing to my Patreon. The module itself does not require an active Patreon subscription, but rather is activatable by just one code, one time. However, we will be releasing, maybe in the next few months or so, a companion app that I'll go into later. That will require a active subscription, but for the time being, this module, no subscription needed. It's entirely up to you. You don't have to even do that. The core functionality only all works. The main purpose of the premium unlock is that it allows you access to animations, multiple screens, multiple layers, layouts, which again I'll go into later. So for the purpose of this demonstration, one sec, there we go. This is a completely brand new install of my module, Foundry Stream Overlay. That is to say, it's not a brand new one. It is, I've just upgraded my live one, which I've used for my own games and my own streams, to Foundry just finished uploading it. And for the sake of creating a overlay, I am using my Dragons of Icespire Peak game, which I've been doing on for a few months now. So the first thing, of course, is to log in by using your Game Master login. Okay, yep, so we have now loaded in. I also have to close these because these are also modules I use for my own game. Now, to be clear, this module I'm using is just for the overlays. There are other modules that you can use and that I use myself as well, for the purposes of streaming your actual game itself. There are multiple ways of doing that. The way I do it is use a module where's it gone? Actually, I have it here. Never mind. Let me just make sure it's actually all enabled. So, yep. So I can see I just need to enable Foundry Stream Overlay to get it working. So it looks like I haven't actually used it on this world yet, which is actually great. The other a module I mentioned that you can also download is a module called OBS Utils, which I will link in the description below. That module is great for streaming your game. That is to say, the actual viewport, like a viewpoint of your game. Not every game necessarily uses maps. Not every game necessarily needs maps all the time. So there are a number of reasons why you might not necessarily need that. So let's go straight into it. So you access it by going to your settings and going down to Foundry Stream Overlay, which I know there's a lot of modules here, so give me a break. There it is. Excellent. So you can open up your overlay by pressing the Open Overlay button. It will send you a little warning saying that if you open it inside the Foundry application, that is to say, the actual one, the desktop application, it might not work because the actual Foundry application itself doesn't like pop-ups. So for that reason, if I open this and then there we go. So you can now see that a green screen has been opened. For the sake of this demonstration, I'll just hide it for the moment. So I'll just put that to one side. But this screen is open the moment that you click on Open Overlay. But I'll just hide that for the moment. Now, in terms of actually creating your scene and getting all that working, there are a number of settings you can do. If you are a premium subscriber, the first thing you should do is go click on the premium button, which will ask you to activate a key. You simply press activate. I'll probably mute out that so you can't see it, and then you can use the premium features. So the next thing to do would be to get our scenes going. If I go into the edit scene button, you can see here that we are now starting with a brand new empty scene, which is exactly what we want. We haven't done anything to add anything to our to scenes yet. So for the moment, I'm just going to stretch this down to one corner a little bit, and I'm going to make the screen visible again, so you can see roughly what it looks like as I'm making these changes. So let's start off with the most simple. We have live data over here, and that will effectively give you allow you to capture live information from a particular actor. You do that by simply choosing from the list who you want to capture. So Casteria, for example. And then over here in the green screen, you can see that it says the name. You still need to adjust the position, which you can do by going here. So we go to, let's say, 100 by 100. And voila, you can see that it's right there. There are a number of styling things that you can do to that. So you can make it bold. You can obviously change the size. Make that nice and big. There are a number of fonts that we have here as well. I should probably change. I'll fix the actual colouring at the moment, but that's the thing that's slipped through the net a little bit. And of course the colour. There is also. I'm just going to move that to a side from one bit. Okay. Nope. That's top, and then 150. There we go. So there's also, for example, text outline. If you're using like a green color, or if you want to have a little bit more of a stroke to it, you can simply change that and then choose what color, if any, that you would like your outline to be. You can also add a drop shadow, and that's all there. And we can do all this other stuff. We can go to the current HB, so you can see right there, it's 23 hit points. And if we go to where is our character PCs, and we go to Castiri, we can see that sure enough it's 23 HP. And most importantly, if we update this on the character sheet, maybe it takes an attack, maybe it takes Lois's HP in total, so that's a 20. Once it pretty much immediately changes it over on the green screen as well. So I'll just change that back to a minute. Great. So next up, and there actually, just before we go on, there are plenty of different ways of formatting data. There is also a custom data path. So Foundry uses a number of data paths for lots of different things. You can have the AC in there, you can have your ability scores on there. There's lots of different options, and you just basically copy the custom path in there. In my previous patch, I did have like a path browser, so at some point I do want to add that back in. This has been a massive refactor of my of the code, so I'm still working on a number of different upgrades and bringing some of the older stuff into it, but there's a lot of new features in here. So for the moment, I'll say level. We can see that sure enough they're a 4th level cleric. You can add a label to that, so and that'll apply to all the different data things we have so far. We can add, because we are this is a premium activated app, We can add effects. So we've got little hovering, a bit going up and down. If I remove that very briefly, and then if I go to wiggle, you can see it's just wiggling there idly. There are lots of little effects we can do just to make things a bit more interesting, to give a bit more character to your overlay. So there's lots of settings here. The entrance settings, which are these two here, the entrance and triggered settings, are not in the new version yet, and we were having quite a bit of trouble getting the triggered animations to work anyway. The entrance animations really were meant for when you unhide or unhide an item, or when you're using the slideshow functionality. So when it slides over, it changes over to a different layout the first time. It arrives the first time. Again, I was having a little bit of trouble with that with the new code, but I'm still working on that. Triggered is about as much as it sounds. So if a certain stat reaches a certain point or less than a certain point, it will do this animation. Again, that in the old version was not always working, so I am currently reworking that and making sure that it is at the best possible place. Moving right along. So next up we have custom text. That is exactly as it sounds, and it has all the same styling and appearances as the data stuff. You simply put in exactly what you want, move it where you want, and you can see there static text appears in the location that you specify. There are plenty of ways of doing that in other OBS as well, of course, but if you want it like this, you've got it like this. So this doesn't really cost me anything to put in, so there's no reason why not to. We have image. Again, pretty self-explanatory. You can use basically any image that you have inside your Foundry world. It's just a case of uploading it for those who don't have it. So you can even use GIFs and animated items. So if, for example, I'm using this creepy animation I made a little while ago, you can see it appears. I do need to make it a bit bigger, which you can do there. Let's make it a lot bigger. Let's say 500%. There you go. So you can see that that works. And you can add normal images, static images. You can use the animations as part of the you get various packages like JSB's animations or cartoon animations like that. You can add all of those to this and it will work. Next up, we have one of the new features in 4.0, which is the dice roll. The dice roll is quite cool and I'm very happy with it. It's pretty straightforward. It's effectively, I'm just going to make this a bit bigger so I can see it and then make it always visible for the moment. There we go. So let's say 400, no, it's a bit too far, 350 and 350. Try and make it as big, as centered as possible. So 200, 250. Yeah, there you go. And then let's say 250 again. There you go. So it's pretty much right in the middle of those creepy, grasping hands. So this is pretty straightforward. It rolls the dice. So if I were to roll a dice for Cast Theory, for example, because I got it right here, I press Medicine, dice rolls, and got a 7. So that appears on here. So for this one, you can see if we go to the chats channel, that it was a 7 plus 3 plus 5 for a 12, but the thing over there says 7. That is because right now we have dice only selected. There are a number of other features you can have. So the total will show the total that you've rolled. There we go, that was 19. We have also expanded with bonuses. So that will show 11 plus the various bonuses you have for a total of 18. We've got expanded no bonuses, which will show you just the dice rolled for with the total. So 27, that was an natural 20 there. That's pretty awesome. And then finally, the last one is a premium feature. So this is not something that you can access as by default without purchasing or subscribing to a Patreon. This one took a little while for me to do, so I'm quite happy that it's working. It's kind of inspired by Baldur's Gate, and if I click on it, you'll see why. It's got 3, plus wisdom for 3, and brings it to 6, plus proficiency bonus for 2, bringing the total to 8, and that's the final number. So yeah, you can see that there are a number of ways to display your dice rolls. If you have the always visible turned off, then in that situation, it will just disappear after about 10 seconds. I do intend to actually add a little configuration to that to see for anyone who wants to maybe specify exactly how long or how short they want the number appearing on the screen. But for the moment, I've got it always visible just so you can see what's going on. If you have as always visible, it will show you the last number that was rolled. In addition to all those effects, we have a little bonus one, which is another one for only the premium usage, called roll animation. And all that does is it kind of goes like a little bit crazy with a number of different numbers cycling through it before it gets the proper animation. So if you click on religion, for example, you see it does a little spinny thing, then a 6, and a 2, and another 2 for a plus a 3 for 13. Something you can see is 13. Yeah, so that's just a nice little extra that you can have that can add a little bit more character to your overlay. And it is configurable and enableable. You can make it go longer. You can choose the speed of it. So it really is open to you. You can also specify who, that is to say, which user of which the dice rolls for. So if you don't choose anyone, it'll do everyone by default, but you can choose singular or multiple users. That is to say, users that you've already added to the game, who and you can effectively make a dice number or a dice roll display just for them, and that can be useful. For example, if you want to add the dice roll over their character sheet, which will obviously disappear if you uncheck always visible. So there's plenty of ways to do this. The last one, also pretty self-explanatory, we have here is HP bar. So that's if I'm just going to make this a bit bigger, so we'll move it to the center, 250 by 250. I just select the character you want, so I'll do Ashiel for the moment. There we go. So that will show a simple HP bar, because maybe you don't want to show the HP of your characters, maybe you just want to see how, you just want to show how healthy they are. So there are a number of ways to configure that. Maybe you don't want a traditional left to right, maybe you want it right to left or top to bottom. That is all configurable. You can style it how you like, add rounded corners, you can add a drop shadow, you can add outlines. One of the cooler things as well, you can choose a gradient. So right now, we can see that it starts at blue. I just choose blue because I didn't want green because it's a green screen. So if we go over to Ashiel, there we go. And then lower his higher HP to, let's say, 15. 15. You can see that not only has the bar gone less, but let's make sure that's not always available again. But the color is slightly changed. So the gradient option effectively slips between the two colors that you specify. You can just have it as one standard color. You can also add a background color if you want. So maybe you don't want it transparent. If you do it, if you have that unchecked, it'll just do the transparent go to green. But maybe you want a different color. I do plan in the future as well to have like images you can put in the HP bar. But yeah, that's all how that works effectively. Again, pretty straightforward and very customizable. That goes is it for all of the items you can add to your overlay. And as I say, it's very customizable, very configurable. You can go as crazy as you want and add all kinds of wonderful stuff and make wonderful hit overlays. But how do you manage your overlays? How do you, when you have multiple games and things going on, what do you do about that? Well, that's the next thing we'll be talking about, which is a premium feature, which is managing different overlays and different windows. So if we go back to our settings and the Foundry Stream Overlay, there we go. So if you are a premium subscriber, you can have access to multiple scenes and multiple displays. So to be clear, the multiple scenes is this. It's your setup. It's what you can see on here. So you can have multiple setups of these and display them to the screen, and it'll show you what your the name of your scene and where it is, where it's being shown as default. You can add another scene, let's say another setup. Let's change that to seconds. And it pop up on the list, and if I want to edit that, there we go, it's right here. I can still swap between them whenever I want to go like that. Okay. The next thing is multiple displays. So this will allow you to have multiple green screens, which can have a number of different reasons you could want that. Maybe you would like a setup that is specific to a single person, and then you can duplicate an overlay and then move it around independently of the rest of the other elements. Or maybe you want to have both a slideshow and your overlay on the same scene. You can absolutely do that. It does require you to have a second window. So if I open that one up, we can see it's currently showing the same loadout, but just change that to seconds. And save changes. There we go. So yes, we have the independent scenes on that. Yeah. So that is basically everything. The only last thing really to say is about how you now display it in OBS or various software. Right now, as of this version, you can only use green screen, and you do have to have an active window open in order to capture that green screen. I know that's not ideal, and so I've actually been banging my head against Foundry to my very best to try and get that working, but I found out effectively it's just not working. It doesn't seem possible to be able to effectively it doesn't seem possible to have like an endpoint with transparency. So right now, what I'm working on is a standalone application that will sit on your desktop and create a local server with all the transparency needed, which you can then import that as a browser source into your OBS software. And that is still very much in development. As you can see here, we're still working on that. But the sooner you guys can help me support that, the more time I'll be able to dedicate to doing that. I do plan that to be not only a premium feature, but a premium feature that requires a active subscription. All these features we've talked about up to now does not require an active Patreon subscription, but rather is just a one-time code. You can subscribe, grab your code and then unsubscribe, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. If you want to keep supporting us and do that way, you can do that as well, which I'd very much appreciated. But if you just want to support us for once, get the code, you can do that. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. There are a few more things I'm working on. You can make some really nice looking overlays. For example, I have been using the previous version for my own streams recently. Have a look. So if you go on to my Twitch channel, it's jenzelta.com/Twitch, you can see that I've been so far creating some overlays just for HP, but I do intend to create like a proper thing later, but I got so much on the go at the same time that I've had to prioritize what I've been doing. So now this is mostly done. We can get that all sorted. But yeah, I hope you have a fantastic time creating your own little overlays, and best of luck. Thank you very much.